Is it working? I have to see if it's working. We do this every time. It is working. Put the music on. We're here, face to face. We've actually had a big convo like this since we were like in high school.
I think so, yeah.
Also, for most of them, we turned around because I'm looking at them. Because it's kind of rude just to like, hello, camera.
Hi. No.
Yeah, but like this reminds me so much of like how this started. You know, back in high school after like club, whatever.
Yeah.
And we just sit out in the parking lot and just talk.
Yeah, we're just like looking at each other, like even though our cars are right next to each other.
Yeah, we're just like leaning on our cars, talking to each other. Man, so it's so little to do back then.
It really was. I mean, I think nothing much has changed too far. Things we can do.
I mean, yeah, I have a lot more money. I still have less time.
Yeah.
So
that's a trade-off.
That's kind of the problem. Yeah. Oh man, but it's good to see you again.
Yeah,
so,
yeah. I can touch you now.
Yeah, hi.
Hi.
Hello.
Hi. Hello.
Your feet are so cold.
I'm winter.
Yeah, winter. And you know, I'm so warm all the time. So it's because I've got the blubber for it. I'm good. Yeah, it's good that you're in town. Usually, like, but when we're doing the Tangent podcast, I try to think of stuff beforehand, but I just didn't.
Yeah.
So,
I got a couple things in my head.
Oh yeah, I can talk about we can talk about work. You know, isn't that nice to hear people talk about work?
Definitely.
But okay. I'll be quick.
Yeah.
So work's been fine and normal, but I've been trying to staff. We got a contract from Royal Caribbean Cruises, like the cruise ship.
Ooh.
You work 45 days for $22,500. It's big money. $22,500 to work 45 days on a cruise. You work every day for like 10 to 12 hours as a nurse, but you're dealing with like seasickness and people like slamming their hand in a door. It's really easy, but you work
can't leave.
No, like
you're stuck on the cruise. Yeah.
When they dock, you stay aboard and you just like clean and you just sit around. But still, it's a lot of money. And I worked all week on it. And
you're at sea.
Well, I got all these people. I got like 5 people, and then 2 more were like, because you have to have a ton of things. You have that valid passport doesn't expire in 6 months. COVID-19 vaccinated and boosted. Had to do a ton of paperwork that I sent them. And I had to have at least 3 years experience in an acute care settings. That's ER, ICU, critical care. Yeah. Oh, and they had to have a BSN, a bachelor's in nursing.
Wow. Okay. They're asking for a lot.
It's a lot. But I got like 6 people on the line ready to roll.
Wow.
And my commission is 10% of our profit. So I calculated that down. It was about $1,500 per person. And then my boss comes out and says Royal Caribbean just canceled their contract with everyone, not just us.
Wow.
Everyone. All the agencies who were vying for that job because they wanted to do it internally. Because they're like, we're paying them too much money. Let's do it ourselves. They don't know how much work it takes. I worked for hours to get one person. And then they're like, no, we'll do it ourselves. So,
yeah, I hope they have a very rough time.
Yeah, my boss is like, yeah, they'll probably call us back up in a month being like, hey, can you get us people again? We tried, it didn't work. So,
yeah.
But it just sucks because I did all that work for like nothing.
You couldn't get all that,
all that money just, no, it's gone.
Just comes and goes as freely as it wants.
Yeah, but otherwise work was fine. My one of my coworkers I learned is extremely rich.
Wow.
So he's like a trust fund kid. His family lives in a mansion in town. He just works jobs because he thinks they're fun. He's worked multiple, and if he gets fired, he's like, whatever, take next one.
You know what a life.
He's been out of work for a week because he got drunk and fought his friend who is 2 times his size, who pile drivered him into the pavement.
Dang.
And he has not been able to walk.
So
for some reason, he just has decided, I'm not going to go to a doctor about this. He's a little odd.
You see, I understand people doing it because I just can't afford a doctor or insurance.
He is fabulously wealthy.
I wonder why. Maybe he just doesn't want to admit it.
Maybe he doesn't want to go into the office.
It's like, well, what happened? What happened to your face? It's like, I don't want to talk about it. It's like, well, we got to know.
No, he has talked about it. He just says tequila won that battle. That's what all he says about it.
Okay.
Because he got drunk. Normally he wouldn't be. He kicked his friend of his who's like 2 times his size in the balls, because he got angry at him because he was drunk.
Oh.
And the guy just grabbed him by the shoulders and went into the pavement.
Dang.
So, I mean, he can work from home and everything. We just call people.
Pretty
So,
much.
Well, more, but that's the basis of it.
You don't have to go out and like, hey, how are you? Would you like a job? Please sign your name here.
Yeah, I'm not out there with pamphlets trying to give it out.
Would you take a job from someone who just shows up and like, hey, would you like a job here? Here, sign my pamphlet.
If they have the specs, yeah. Especially for lower positions like CNAs.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's like a 2-month course around there. It's one of those two.
But for like someone off the street, that's the thing I'm trying to figure out. See, that's the thing.
Maybe it depends, because they might be lying.
The thing is, when I pick anyone,
Yeah.
I'm just gonna think this person probably wants to sign away my rights or something.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is.
But like with people online, when I find them or they apply for the job, I can see their resume, I can look them up, on systems and all that, and I can know who they are. Person on the street, it's like, yeah, I'm a nurse. Like, what do you have to show? Trust me, bro. I don't know.
Yeah. No.
But how has work life been for you?
I'm slowly turning into a workaholic, and I enjoy it.
No.
The thing is, like in my job, I feel like I'm not as productive as I could be. And this week, when I started coming to Jacksonville, I said I'm not going to bring any distractions. I'm not going to bring anything I could think of that could like make me think of doing not work. And the first couple days, I was just like, I don't want to do it, but I started actually reading through the things I need to do, and the more I started reading through and actually like understanding the problem, I eventually just got into the mood of like, you know what, I want to go a bit further. I want to go a bit more than just point and click, do the basic stuff. And I got a lot of stuff done. Even like on this weekend, like before I came here, I was just like, I want to work. I feel bored right now, and I'd rather
No. Get no.
But it's not like they want to. Because I feel like if I were to tell my bosses or if they were to find this out, they'd be like, "What are you doing? What are you doing? We asked you if you're going to do this, like have some work-life balance." But I think it's because like in the week sometimes I'm productive and I'm just like, actually going through stuff, and other times I'm just like on the computer. My mind is empty and it's foggy, and I just need to like walk or do something to get my mind. But this time I was just like laying on an air mattress on the floor. There's no video games. I didn't bring my Switch with me.
Ooh.
I only have my phone, which has YouTube recommendations, which are crap nowadays.
Yeah.
And Netflix, which honestly I'm not like a big Netflix fan. I don't have like a show. Only now recently I'm getting to like season 3 of Attack on Titan.
Yeah.
But even then it was just like, wow, that's a lot of intense narrative. I need to take a break.
You want to chill, yeah.
Yeah, I want to chill. So in the end, it's just kind of like, yeah, work sounds more interesting right now. I got a lot of things coming up, but I'll admit, I've been feeling stressed. But that's like, it feels kind of more like I don't know how to feel about it, actually. I don't know. Well, it's kind of like a stress of, one, there's like things that have been happening more lately.
Yeah.
But like family and other events and engagements I have to keep track of.
Yeah.
But at the same time, there's like this internal monologue that I feel like I need to do more, particularly because I have like a theme this year. So like my theme this year is like Year of Health, and I've been taking more strides towards that for sure. And I feel like it really, every time I talk to like a professional, they just tell me the basic stuff that they say each on. You're not doing the basic thing. Count every bit of food that you put down, and drink more water. That's really important. Yeah, we got plenty.
Well, you can't see it, but right off the screen over here is it like
there's this
jug.
I think if I drink this, I'll be good for like 3 days.
It's 5 gallons, so I think we should have like a gallon a day.
You see, I tried doing that.
I do that. It's hard, actually.
It's hard. It's like I can do half a gallon a day. That's easy, but a full gallon. And also, I just want to use the bathroom more.
Well, you have to space it is the problem. Like for me, I have this like half-gallon jug I have at work that I fill up there because they have like one of those water bottle fill machines. I'm the guy everyone hates because I spend it because mine's half a gallon, so it takes a while. But I fill it up and I drink throughout the day. But sometimes I'm sitting there bored, like 3 p.m. and I'm like, I have no calls, I have nothing to do. Drink water, drink. And I drink like a fourth of it, and then I'm like 20 minutes later, like, oh, I got pissed. And it's all white, you know.
Yeah.
I just lost all of it.
Which is
Because
good.
you gotta microdose it throughout the day. You know?
Microdose it.
You gotta take like 2 sips every like 30 minutes.
I got to take like a shot of water.
Yeah, which is the opposite of how I drink water. Like if I filled this up, you know, I just go done. But because it's so big, I can't do that. Or I could, but I die. I think. Like, I just drown.
Here's the thing. I talked to because one of the things I had is like, I want to be more energetic. I feel like I had more energy when I was a kid. I talked to like 3 different doctors, and they said like, water actually gives you more energy.
Yeah.
And I didn't realize that. It's like, what do you mean water gives you more energy? It's like, well, you need blood, and that blood needs oxygen. And water has oxygen.
It's like putting oil on like a wheel.
Yeah.
You know, it's a lubricant.
Basically.
Yeah.
So when I realized that, I was like, oh, so now I actually need to drink water. So
Yeah.
I remember the whole like, what was that name of that song? Like the album from
Young Scrolls?
Yeah, Young Scrolls.
Yeah,
the shield girl has to drink water. Drink water, drink water, drink water.
Yeah.
That was good.
Can you turn my AC off? It's not loud.
Yeah.
It's the top right button. Thank you.
Now
I should be able to hear us more.
Yeah. You should
But-
sit next to me like this.
Yeah, I should. Well, the problem is this chair is old and weird, and I'm afraid that it'll cut a hole in the rug.
Okay, I have
But
an idea.
let me.
You take my chair, and I take the bean.
Oh, we could do that. Yeah, but I wonder if the mic picks up. We just have to be louder.
We'll have to project.
Project your voice.
Yeah.
Are you sure? Are you sure? Do you want the beanbag or should I?
You can take it. I have no problem. Hey, don't worry, listeners.
Technical difficulties. Don't worry.
Technical difficulties. What?
Yeah. This is a little better. Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe.
Yeah. Maybe like. Well, basically you just move the camera, but that works too.
Yeah. All right.
Oh. Yeah. This is better. This is better.
Mm-hmm. So.
Take my water.
Yeah. Now that we both have our water.
So, you want to talk about Ukraine, or is that too political for you?
Sure, I'll talk about Ukraine. I do not.
It's all I've been looking at for the past 2 days.
The thing is, everyone, the internet and the news have been blasting everywhere. I can't go a drive without. If I turn on the radio, it's like Ukraine, like on talk radio or NPR, and then when there's like a little like music station, it's like, and also want to give a shout out
To the brave fighters in Ukraine.
Yeah, like, God, can I get a break? Like, to be honest, look, I mean, I don't like war. This is the next guy, but I really do not. It doesn't bother me because I always think about this. Like, this is here to get like fun, you know, fear, uncertainty, doubt. People are making money off of people getting scared.
Oh yeah.
I feel bad for the people trapped there.
Yeah, like the videos,
And
it's terrible.
Yeah, I would feel because I feel bad not because like one side's bad or another, but it's just because like. You know, war sucks. I remember playing this War of Mine, and like that's
Yeah, they got like a new thing out for like all the proceeds are going to Ukrainian like refugees now or something like that. Yeah.
Like war sucks. So I don't really want like battle to happen, but it just feels like it's like a battle between like 2 separate sides, from what I understand. So like for me, I don't really care too much, other than like the only thing I do care about is that lately I heard some people saying like this is going to cause World War III, and I just want to tell everyone on the internet, even if this does cause World War III, you shouldn't change the way you're living right now unless you're not living in a way you feel comfortable with right now. That's the only time I would say, because at the end of the day, you're basically given 2 options: either live and you do things that you want, or you get scared and try to hide in a bunker. But then the only thing I had thought about was, do I even want to live in the world after that? No. Seems like too much trouble. I don't even care about that. So I'm going to continue with my life. Feel bad for everyone there, though. I mean, I know the whole thing started like, what?
A few days ago.
Yeah, it happened a few days ago.
Well, the invasion. The threats have been going on for like a month.
Threats been going on. Well, I mean, it's been longer than that. I've been hearing them saying this for like years.
I mean, if you go back far enough, you technically could have started at like the Crimea invasion, like 2014.
Yeah, if I remember correctly, it's all because of the dissolution of the USSR.
Well, yeah, because Putin's former KGB, and he wants to bring the glory of the USSR back, and he wants his big borders, and they want a warm water port and all that.
I mean, there's that, but I also know that 1991, there was like Boris Yeltsin, some kind of deal that there's like enough buffer states where NATO wouldn't be right in front of Russia, and they wouldn't have to like get into a confrontation because they're too close to each other. And now like Ukraine was basically like right on the doorstep, so Putin, along with his own interests, was like, well, this is a legitimate security threat. So, and also we have ethnic Russians that are there. And so for me, I'm just kind of
like, where's the point where Ukraine's a buffer state and where it's its own sovereign nation?
The only thing I do know is that in Ukraine, like the past couple decades prior to the 2014 Crimean issue, there was more or less a neutral government, and then after there was a coup.
They overthrew the government, yeah.
Yeah, and then it became a lot more hostile towards Russia and also Russians in
and
Ukraine.
Became more pro-NATO,
yeah.
Western. Yeah.
And then the native Ukrainian Russians were like, we don't like being treated hostile against, and also we have our interests more in line with Russia, so we'd rather just make independence. Like to me, I see it like the equivalent of a bunch of people in New Mexico and Arizona saying we're tired of being mistreated for being Mexican, or our interests are not being heard, so we're going to strike independence.
But would that
and Mexico's taking.
But would that give the right of Mexico to take over those places?
I don't know. It's like they're all Mexican in that case. What I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
So it's like, let them. It's their decision. It's their conversation. I'm not Ukrainian or Russian, so I don't really have a say in this. I'm just gonna look on and be like, okay. So for me, I'm just kind of like.
I just think that war is the worst option. War is definitely the worst option.
Yeah, it is. I mean, it's a worse option, but like I feel like these are one of these things where it's like it's gonna happen one way or another, because of all the things that happened before. It's like,
and also I feel like Putin was making threats, and then he's like a big strongman leader where if he doesn't follow through on his threats, like his popularity might go down. So he's kind of like, okay, they're not going to my threats, I guess I actually have to go to war now.
I mean, maybe it's like maybe if your way of diplomacy or other attempts aren't working, then and they're not getting the results that you need, then I guess is your option you've been pushed to. For me, I'm just kind of like, it doesn't really.
I can say that I have respect though for the Ukrainian leader for not fleeing the country. Like he's still in the capital, like fighting for his nation. Like at least he's better than some leaders who would just ditch.
I mean, maybe. I don't know much about the guy, so I won't.
One thing I don't like is like his grandpa was in the USSR and fought the Nazis and all that, and he has family members who were killed by the Nazis. And like the Russian media is trying to portray him as like a Nazi.
Well, because of Azov Battalion.
But that's just one small thing, though. Well, you can't invade a nation because of one group.
Well, no.
Well, you can say the same thing in America with the KKK. You invade us because of them?
No. But I think the thing that a lot of were talking about is that. So the only thing the couple things I know is that in the UN, this sentiment with like sympathize or just something like okay with Nazi sympathizers has been going for a while, because in the UN vote, I remember that it was like U.S. and Ukraine voted against a bill condemning like Nazism and glorification of Nazis. But it happened. You can look online.
Yeah.
But but before that even happened, a lot of these groups popped up. I think there's some NATO support between them because they're against Russia, so that makes sense.
Mostly around the Crimean War type thing.
Exactly. So these groups rose up in power due to their influence in this conflict, and then they take more political office. So because of that, they just have more.
They only have like 2 seats in the Ukrainian Senate though, which has hundreds.
Well, it's not about seats. We have in America, we have Democrats and Republicans have mutual goals and they help each other out.
Yeah.
And so you can't really just go by how many X people in this party are there.
I mean, but like other countries, like France has had a far right problem recently too.
Yeah. But it depends on who's getting the keys of power. And also at the end of the day, I'm sure there's enough finance or liberal people in France that has enough hold the institutional power that those groups won't take over.
Yeah.
Or there's not enough collaboration between the ones already in power and those who want to take some of it.
I just think that Ukraine is definitely in a weaker position in terms of the strength of its democracy because they did have like a revolution a few years, like less than a decade ago. But I just think that Putin really does want like a buffer puppet state, kind of like Belarus.
Yeah,
you know?
and it makes sense. Like, yeah, of course you want a buffer state because if you have like a NATO state right there, then you have NATO military capabilities right on your
I
doorstep.
mean, but aren't the Baltics right next door? Like they're up against the Baltics are like Estonia, Latvia. They're NATO states and they're right against them. But I guess they're tiny.
Well, it's not even that. Like, it's basically more of like they're small, but also they were like small incremental changes. Like you don't just we're all when the USSR became
Collapse.
It wasn't just all these states immediately became part of NATO. It was slowly, inch by inch. Okay, hey, NATO, please stop it. And it's like, well, it's only this small state, this inch. So it's again, it's kind of like a divorce. Like, it's not the one thing. Like, Ukraine's not the one issue. It's just a compounding conflict between, former USSR deals that were inherited by the Russian Federation, and then NATO expansion, and member states growing. So there's going to be a conflict one way or another.
I just wish Russia didn't have such a hot-headed leader. Like someone who would have sat down and tried to negotiate like a treaty, maybe making Ukraine some sort of special zone where neither party can interact, and it really is just a true buffer. Because Ukraine is afraid of Russia. Of course, you can see they're getting destroyed.
It would be too. Like if the same problem happened to Mexico and the U.S., anyone would be rightfully afraid. So there's no doubt about that. But I also can't say that war is usually the last resort, or one of the last tools. It's not to say that it must be the last tool that someone uses.
It's just usually for most people.
Yeah. So that's why I feel like I might not know because I'm not the overseer, but I wouldn't bet that this whole thing didn't have any diplomacy or calls by NATO to scale back that, or Russia deals that didn't go through because Russia didn't like the terms, and so they both broke each other's promises.
Well, yeah, because the thought was that if you give Putin Ukraine, you essentially say, okay, NATO's going to back out. What's next? The people thought of the appeasement of Hitler. They'll give him Czechoslovakia, and then right after that he went for Poland. You appease him, and then he gets emboldened and moves for something greater. That was the fear with Putin. That you'd give him Ukraine, and then he'd try to keep rebuilding the USSR with other states.
Maybe that was a miscalculation. Maybe it was true. Maybe it was a miscalculation because they thought it was going to end up like that, but in the end, it just by Russia, if they didn't want it that, or they did, it just seems like aggression by NATO anyway. Because perception matters. In the end, even if you have the intention to do something, if the majority of people perceive it as, aggression or going against promises, and they tell you that, or you don't, and you think it's propaganda, or you think that they're telling the truth and you don't act on it, no problem. Then you're going to deal with the consequences. For me, that's why I'm kind of I won't take a side in this, especially because both sides seem to have a lot of dirt. But the only thing I don't want really, this is the only opinion I have, is that I don't want NATO to get involved, because the moment they try to press on this issue by funding Ukrainians or something like
That's
that.
already happening.
Well, then we're in trouble, because then there's going to be even more bloody and messy. That's the thing,
in the weeks leading up to the invasion, we were giving them guns and military equipment and training them. Yeah.
Well, the thing I mean by is that and boots on the ground would be the worst thing that could happen, because honestly, everyone would love and everyone expects this to be a quick war. We don't want this to last longer than a year, and I pray for that. I really do, because let this be a quick win or loss either way.
I mean, but if it's prolonged, though, it might lead to the ousting of Putin, which I think is a good thing. He's not a good leader for Russia, I feel.
I don't really care. I care more about people I don't care about politics in terms of who's the leader or what. I care about, the person who's stuck there that may not like the situation or just want things to go back to normal. I want to get back to normal, because I don't like war. I think it's...
Yeah, and I think that's true for both the Russians and the Ukrainians. Because you see, I've seen video lately of Russian soldiers who like don't want to be there because they're conscripts. Because Russia, just like nations like South Korea, forces young men to join the army for like a year. I believe it's a year in Russia.
Yeah.
So a lot of these boys, essentially like 18-year-olds, are there because they have to be, not because they want to be.
Yeah.
Now, of course, you have trained like soldiers been there for 20 years. Like they might be better at it, but they're fighting a war they don't want to fight. And the Ukrainian civilians, you know, you see, like I've seen so many, like that one video of the Russian, I believe it's a tank or some tank armored vehicle, just running into a Ukrainian car and just crushing it. And there's a video after people trying to get the person out.
I thought that was a Ukrainian tank.
I saw it as a Russian one because there were civilians from the city trying to get on afterwards. So
I thought it was in Donbass.
I don't know exactly, but I mean I've seen videos of missiles hitting people, like civilians in their homes.
Yeah, it's wars. It's
yeah, and it like that's who I really feel for. You know, like the politics, whatever, but the people need help. You know, if you can help in any way for the civilian aids, like other countries around there, like Poland and Romania, are taking refugees from the conflict, which is good.
Yeah, I mean,
because like let the politicians have their fight, but keep the average Joe Schmo out of it. You know.
that's why I just wanted to be like either over with quick. I mean, just don't want it to escalate. That's the really only thing I care about because. You know, it's not a good and evil kind of thing as like I see it. So I can't really like pick one or another. I mean, there's evil on both sides, and just you know, there's good on both sides, or there's like average, maybe not even good, just like people being people on both sides. So I don't really have a stake in this matter as long as it just doesn't involve us getting involved.
I guess I just feel for the underdog more. Maybe just a bias of mine. You know, I just feel for the guy who's about to get killed because Ukraine's not going to win this fight.
Well, yeah, I mean, if it's just that, like Ukraine and Russia, then it's bad, but it'll be quick and easy. It's not like
I wouldn't say because there's going to be guerrilla warfare for sure.
Yeah, there'll be guerrilla warfare.
Ukrainian people aren't going to give up.
I'm sure there's going to be a lot of militancy there, but I want this to like the main thing to be over quick, and because we don't want like another Vietnam, but Russia and Ukraine.
I just worry that if Putin does win and annexes Ukraine, what's next for him?
He might annex Ukraine. I don't know. Like that's not really much.
If not annexation, then they'll just make a puppet state, like with Belarus, which Belarus isn't too great either right now. Their leader is not good. He's really strict. You know, like jailing journalists and things like that. Well,
sure. Like it's not. We don't have the. I don't think like okay. I wouldn't want to be in Belarus because there's a lot more political forces that are pressuring the country to go one way or another. Mm-hmm. So of course you're going to have a lot more. I want to say whatever, like authoritarian, or just more governmental forces are going to try to keep a strict line so that it doesn't let it get swayed to one way or another.
I think once Putin dies, Russia will fundamentally change. Because I feel like he's such a big, strong man, like dictator essentially, that whichever oligarch comes next to lead the Russian Federation, things will change. I feel like they'll be less hostile to the West, or I think they'll either move towards the West or towards China. I think they'll stop trying to be their own independent, large power because they just don't have it anymore.
I doubt that. I doubt that. Like,
right.
Here's the reason why. Because we're entering an age of multipolarity. Like, it's no longer just the West owns everything. It's, you know, we get to do whatever we want. We're entering back into what life used to be before 1945. And I think that's just the case that people are kind of like scared and think it's bad because, you know, our generations have not lived in that world. Not even my grandmother has lived in that world. So because of that, it's unfamiliar and changing. But if I'm any sane Russian leader, if I'm not like a sellout that's going to like throw the country into like another collapse like the USSR, they're going to keep their relationship with China because they're their biggest trade partner, and with China they can survive sanctions because they have the greatest production country in the world. At least not being hostile to them, if not being friendly.
I'd say they'd seek an alliance one way or the other with the West because they're the current power block to be with, and with China because they're a rising power. But they right now Russia's kind of in between. They're more leaning towards China, but Putin, I think, still has the dream of the USSR being the world superpower. You know, he wants to be seen as independent rather than being a part of a larger alliance.
I mean, yeah, but I don't think. But think about it like this: you don't get to be that powerful to hold a country like that together and get the West and all the other countries on your eyes, like on their eyes on you, without being, tactical and smart. Like he's probably.
I'm not saying he's a bad leader. I just don't think he's ethical.
Well, yeah, but the thing is that ethics don't win countries. Like strategy and alliances, diplomacy does. Resources win countries.
Sure,
so,
but I can still criticize a dictator for dictating.
Sure you can.
Yeah.
But I just think that in the end,
because if we wanted maximum efficiency, we'd all just be in dictatorships.
yeah, it's not as fun.
Yeah, you just have a system like the Chinese system where it's centralized and then you just run the country from there. Because a decentralized democratic system is incredibly inefficient. And you need everyone to play by the rules. If things fall apart, you just get dictators again. It's what humans do. But, I feel like I can still criticize it and say hopefully something better after. Because Russia hasn't had good leaders for a while. I mean, he's been the only leader pretty much since the fall of the USSR. And I just feel like he's chasing the past. I feel like Russia should try to dream again and find something new to become. I mean, they're a great state at heart. They're multi-ethnic. They have states like us because they're a federation, And I feel like if they embrace that identity, they could be great.
What makes you think they're not doing that right now?
Because of laws like their anti-gay laws. They're just not very progressive in my mind, which I feel like is needed to embrace the diversity of a nation fully. If you don't embrace people for who they are and what they are, how can you do that?
I mean, you see, yeah, but I can't really say there's like a lot of countries that live up to that model.
Oh, yeah.
So that's why I can't really
sure.
like. Are they not the best in comparison? Sure, that's arguably
to other world powers. Yeah, I'm not criticizing Botswana for their non-progressiveness. I know nothing. They might be. I don't know. But I'm just saying a nation. I'm saying because Russia's a world player, and every other world player, even ones I don't like I don't know, China, they're better on this. They at least give people their rights, and they don't outlaw them for what they are.
Yeah, but it's, how should I say this? I think with the case of Russia, I'm not really defending it. It's just more of, is there a political will to do it? Because
they're a very conservative culture.
That's the thing. Like, it's if their culture is going to be conservative at the moment, then I can't say there's political will for me to judge them on. It's just a matter of, do they want it? I know that. Actually, I don't know, but what I learned, the basic stuff of the USSR, is that a lot of the, inclusivity came as like staked down. Like, we're not going to tolerate this bullshit. Even if it wasn't culturally like accepted,
it was forced.
It was forced. So like for that to be like, we're now is no longer a Soviet state. It's a capitalist state at the end of the day. Like, don't get me wrong, this is not like the USSR again. You can't really play it like that. So because the capitalist state, you're just going to get the default culture. You're not going to like get anything that's imposed on the top. It's going to have to come from the bottom up. So
you can try from the top, though. I mean,
well, then that's what the USSR did.
But we did that here with gay marriage.
No, that's not the case. You had,
but there was still a fight, though.
Well, the thing is, you had all the political will before. If the fight,
not all. I'd say there was the beginnings of it, sure. But you maybe had 30, 40, maybe 50% of the population on board with gay marriage when we made it a thing back during the Obama years.
Well, you need that much. I don't know what it's like in Russia.
I have no clue. Russia's a very, like I said, a conservative culture where they just don't talk about that kind of thing,
I can't say, but
I mean, I criticize it just like how I criticize a culture like Saudi Arabia's, where women don't have rights, you know? And like, sure, there's probably not enough will to change it there because it's a very patriarchal culture. But I can still criticize and say I think it's wrong. And like that also gets into what you think. Should all cultures be what you think they are? Should people have their own cultures? And that's a whole debate. But what do you think about that?
The whole culture thing. Personally, I can have my opinion of a person's culture. I can even say that parts of the culture I don't like or I think I can argue are immoral. But I always believe that unless they mess with mine, I have no reason to mess with theirs. Because that's true respect of culture. Where even if we don't like it, unless they are being aggressive, then we hope.
What if their culture is enslaving people?
That's what I said. Is it aggressive?
In their own borders? They don't take it from anywhere else.
We can just choose what we don't want. Like, there's history to say, like, what happened in the UK and other European states when slavery was no longer profitable and abolitionists had more sway. They just made political pressure, say, hey, we don't want to, trade with you, or we don't feel comfortable doing this. You can do that, and it's coercion, sure, but you can also just express that we don't feel comfortable doing this deal unless.
But wouldn't that be interfering with their culture, though?
It is. It's coercion.
Yeah.
But that's your ability to say that. As long as you don't force other people to go along with it, or to like say, hey, everyone, no one should trade with this person because of X reason. I feel like the other countries should, of their own accord, want to not do that. That's more democratic than me.
I agree, but also I feel like there needs to be a baseline. I guess I'm just a believer in like the UN like human rights bill sort of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Like don't murder, don't like rape people, don't enslave people. Like I don't think those should be part of a culture.
Well, that's not the thing. Like enslavement, like we all know, like it's in the UN Bill of Rights.
We all don't know.
No,
I mean there's still people who human traffic and all that.
They do because it's profitable. It's not a matter of do I know that this is ethical or not? No, I think most people, even now especially, will know that it's not ethical, or at least historically frowned upon. So it's now a matter of what do countries want to do. If they believe that there's an issue going on, then they can do whatever they want at their border. I just think that's where your influence should stay and have most of your forces towards. But I don't agree in like, I think they're doing this and I don't like that, so I'm gonna like go in and like tell these people that this government's gone. We're gonna put someone. I don't agree with that.
It's always risky because you could get someone comes along with bad ideas, but it could also be a good thing because you get someone who comes along with good ideas. It's more risky than the more neutral approach. This makes me think of Star Trek, which I've been watching, with the founding principle of it to not interfere in cultures.
Yeah, I'm going to take the Prime Directive on this.
The Prime Directive, yeah. But also, you see so many times the Prime Directive is flawed. I was watching a recent episode where this planet of a pre-space flight civilization. They're about like our modern-ish tech level. And this young girl, she sends a message through a radio out into space, and Data, the android, sees the signal, talks to her, and they figure out that the planet's going to blow up because there's some sort of like tectonic plate activity. The planet's just going to go back into a volcanic like primordial state.
Yeah, that's not culture interruption, though.
But it breaks the Prime Directive because you're interfering with their culture.
No, it doesn't. In my eyes, it doesn't. Culture is like interfering with their ways of governance and law.
Okay, I've got
ways of life.
I've got a better one for you. There was another episode where there were two planets right next to each other. One of them had space flight, the other one didn't. The one that had space flight was a smaller population on a smaller planet, maybe a few million.
Yeah.
The other one had tens of millions, if not billions, of residents, but they were lower tech. The lower tech planet has had a disease that's ravaging it for 200 years now. The other planet has the only cure to it. The other planet is now having a sort of rulership over that one, because if you don't do what they say, they don't give you the medicine, because you have to take the medicine constantly to survive the disease. And the disease is, you get it from birth, and it never goes away.
Okay.
the Enterprise shows up and they can't do anything about this, even though it's unethical, because they figure out that you can make the vaccine on that other planet easily. They just don't, because the other planet wants to have control over them. They also figure out that there is no disease. That what they've been giving them, the medicine they originally gave them to solve the disease in the first generation, but it has a stimulative, like narcotic effect. They're drug addicts since birth.
Oh.
So they still can't interfere though. That's interfering with their culture.
I'm going to respond to that right after this break. I'll see you later. We'll use it.
Alright, it's back there.
That's actually a good question. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, and they get around it in a very interesting way.
Alright.
My dog doesn't like him. Can you even hear me over there? Yeah. My dog doesn't like him. Sad music. Grover, you're so mean to my friends. Oh man, hope everybody's doing good today. Saturday here. It's pretty good so far. Hope you can hear me. Oh, he's coming back. Don't tell him he's a cool guy. Very cool. Even, perhaps. Right in from fear of the dog. Hates him.
Hey everyone, I'm back running from the dogs. Alright.
So yeah, how they end up solving that issue is because they can't violate the Prime Directive. What Picard ends up doing is all the medicine that the other planet had made, they brought on board. He uses the transporter and loses it.
Yeah.
In space, to where then both cultures have to, the one that control has to go, ah shit, we just lost our servants, and the servants will go, after the withdrawals, they're like, I'm not dead, and they figure out their stuff. But he technically didn't violate their cultures because he just lost it.
Yeah.
So that's interesting because like the non-intervention in cultures to let them propagate how they will. I mean, you always hope that they end up good. They end up like your own.
Yeah.
Everyone thinks their own culture is best, of course. But you know that does come into the fact that you could let them get away with terrible things if you just let them sit in their own thing.
Well, yeah, that's true. And it could also be like the opposite, where you think you're helping out, but then you unleash a monster.
True.
So, like in this case, I actually would do the same thing. I'll be like, "Oh no, I lost it.
I lost your drugs.
I'm sorry. Can you give me another shipment?"
Yeah.
It's like this time I won't lose it, and I actually don't lose it.
Yeah. You just take it for yourself. Yeah. It's just like it's an interesting subject because when I was in my it's my anthropology class. We had the whole subject class was about this. You know, like when is it right to judge a culture and when is it not? You know, and how do these cultures interact? Like, should some cultures be preserved or should they be allowed to evolve? One interesting subject about that was in Papua New Guinea. And all these traditional cultures out in the jungles and the mountains, you know, away from the coasts where the European influence is higher, you know, there were these men from the city, and they're from Papua New Guinea, you know, but they go they drive their trucks out into the villages, and the trucks, like people that knew what they were, but they're rare up there, you know. And they meet these people still dressed in the same tribal manner, living the same tribal ways they had for thousands of years, and they would sell them Coca-Cola because they'd never had soda before. and they have like a little stage show where they open their truck up and they go like, oh, what is this? And go like, it's Coca-Cola. Watch this, and it fizzes over. And the people go, wow! It's like they're just traveling salesmen selling like basic products they buy for cheap in the city to these tribals out here, and like, you know, the question was, is this a good thing? To take these cultures which have been the same for thousands of years and try to put new things into them, you know, not by force. The people willingly take these things. They will. You'll willingly see a tribal elder walk up and put a few coins in the man's hand for a bottle of Coke. Yeah, but
I think that's fine to me. It's very much what matters to me is the coercion of what you do, because it's one thing for someone to be like, you know what, I see what you're doing here, and I agree. I like this, and I want something in my life. But it's another thing to be like, you're doing this wrong, or you're the way you're doing things is backwards, and I'm going to force you one way or another to do this.
And there was another example we looked at, which was I don't remember where it was, but it was in Central Africa somewhere. It was I think it was in the Congo or around there. But it was these two tribes who they had a thing going on for hundreds of years, where every, I believe, year and a half, 2 years, they would get all of the young men and just like middle-aged men from the village. They'd all get naked, get their bows and spears, and go out to a field with the same field, and they would fight each other like in war.
Yeah.
For like a day. People die. And then,
sounds like the Purge.
But it's like tribal warfare, like the bows and the spears and everything.
Yeah, but are they fighting everyone in their own tribe?
Yeah, it's one tribe versus another.
Oh, so it's just war. Okay.
Yeah, and they do this like ritualized war, and then whichever side ends up with the least amount of dead people wins, and then the other side has to give them cows. So it's like whoever wins gets a prize of like, give me half your flock. And then they do that, and then the people who are watching are like, why do they do this? Why doesn't one side just go conquer the other? Or why do they even fight? Why don't they just trade? And they talk to the villagers like, I don't know, just that's how we do. You know, a young man goes at the fight and he proves his glory in combat, and if we do well enough, we get a good feast. That's how it works. And like the class discussion was like, what do you think about this? And I put like, I think it's weird.
Yeah.
But also like, I get it kind of.
I do. It's like why people have football teams. In a
it's like
sense.
sport.
Yeah.
It's like ritualized sport, death and combat.
Yes.
And it makes me think of like Romans, you know, the Colosseum. That just ritualized death and combat, but not at a war level.
Yeah.
You know?
But I guess it's kind of, maybe even another way it's like, hey, we don't have to go at war and take each other, which would be a lot more devastating to each whatever side. Instead, why don't we just do this little like sport, and although we get that aggression out,
all the young men get to strip down and fucking stab each other out in the field
if they really want to. And then if they, at the end of the day, we get like the same, like a reduced spoil of war, but without the costs of going to real war.
And also population control too.
Yeah.
Like you just lose a few of the hotheads because a lot of the men, they'll just sit back and intentionally not hit their arrows because they don't want to kill somebody.
Yeah.
But you'll have a few hotheads who run with their spear and try to stab somebody, and they might get shot and die.
Yeah.
And it's like up.
And then
Joe the freak is dead.
But think about it like this, like because of this, eventually there will be a certain point where enough of them are like, too cool-headed to be like, why do we even do this?
Yeah, they'll be like, wait,
it's
why don't we just? I'll give you 2 cows, and you give me your wife over there. Like they'll move on to like a more modern form.
Yeah,
you know?
No, but that's the thing. What I'm saying is like, you know, you could intervene, but I feel like there's also like a certain point where people are just not going to understand or get it. Like, you can.
Eventually, traditions die out. You know,
exactly.
Culture evolves.
Like people were just like, oh yeah, why the hell did my granddad or my grandma like participate?
Why'd they strip naked and stab people? What the hell?
Yeah, and it's like, for us, I'm looking at it like, I'm sure my great ancestor is looking at me and was like, you
like coward. You're not gonna go out in the field and fight for your tribe. What's wrong with you?
Yeah,
well, my like great ancestors like, bro, we were literally Vikings, bro. Come on.
Yeah.
You gotta get your spoils.
And we live better than both of them.
Oh yeah.
So it's kind of like, I feel fine.
And what's interesting is that like that sort of ritualized combat also existed in South Africa, and the person who broke that eventually was Shaka Zulu, who just went, you know, it's ritualized combat. I trained my men. We're gonna fucking kill you. And then he killed them and conquered them, became the greatest warlord of the era because he just broke all the traditions, and all the old men and like hated him. He's like, he's doing a thing against our culture, and he's like, oh, okay, stab.
He's like, now this is the new culture.
Yeah, this is the new culture, war.
Yeah.
And then he got his shit kicked in by Britain. But he fought though.
I mean, if it was just Africans with Africans,
Then he'd have founded a whole kingdom.
Pretty
You know?
much.
Yeah. Yeah.
that's what I'm saying. The coercion's like, hello, I see what you all are doing here, and I would like to disrupt everything you're doing.
Yeah, the queen comes in like, yes, nice war, but that's my stink. Bang. Oh man, South Africa's wild.
Man.
Like, you ever look into the politics of South Africa?
No, I don't even know the basic history of like
Apartheid. and all that,
apartheid
yeah.
South Africa, but I kind of just assumed it was like standard African colonialism, and then after liberation from apartheid, they're just like immense state.
They're a really multi-ethnic state compared to a lot of African states. Like somewhere like Mali, for example, it's pretty much just like Malian people. They have their own tribes and stuff, and a few Frenchmen from the colonial days, but it's mostly just them. Well, South Africa has a large, like, white colonizer type. And there's different types, too. There's the Dutch colonizers and the English colonizers. And their interaction with that post-apartheid is interesting. Because, like, all the white colonizer types, they have more power and wealth and all that. But the government explicitly tries to counter that with like affirmative action and all that sort of stuff, but trying because they're the majority.
Yeah, it's like this is our state. You can stay here because we're not going to kill and kick you out. But don't under no pretense let you believe this is your.
Yeah, they're not violent, but they're still like you're gonna lose eventually to us because we're just more than you.
This is our home.
Yeah. And like a lot of the white people, like their like great grandpa was the colonizer. They just live here.
Yeah, so it's like you can choose to just like do your own thing there. You can like leave.
And some of their best politicians are just white people who are like, yeah, like my ancestor kind of fucked this place up. I'm trying to make it better. For everybody.
At that point, it's just like, well, glad you're here on board.
Yeah, it's kind of like if America, if we didn't like all the natives didn't die, and yet there were still like white people here. It'd be like, yeah, the natives, this is their land technically, but like, I'm still gonna live here because it's my home.
Yeah.
Like, if the tribes of Florida, because like all of them are
the
dead.
Timucuan and Timucuan.
Yeah,
they rose up from the grave.
Yeah. Well, the Timucuan are dead, like all of them. But like, if they were alive, it'd be like, yeah, this is technically your land, but there's like 200 of you left. Sorry, bro, you lost.
I'm sure that's what the Indians and reservations thing. It's like, okay, great.
Yeah, well, especially on the big ones, like half of Oklahoma is like native land. I was actually getting a nurse. I forgot what tribe she was a part of. I was sending her to the Comanche Memorial Hospital. I think she was from some other tribe around there, Blackfoot maybe. I don't remember. She was cool though. What's it called? But like those tribes, like they're basically their own governments,
Yeah, it makes
technically, if you made an accurate map of the U.S., there'd just be holes in it. Because the tribal governments are not part of the U.S.
Yeah.
They're their own sovereign nations, which we just don't treat them like they are.
Yeah.
Because they're weak.
Yeah, it's like there's sovereign nation up until the
In
point
name, yeah.
Yeah, in name. Yeah.
Man, I wish you could turn back time and not kill off all those cultures. Because like some of them sucked. Like the Aztec culture sucked with all the ritual like sacrifice and death.
Like
sucked.
My opinion, I wouldn't want to live in that one.
Oh no. Which they also had like a ritualized combat where two sides would go formally declare war and each other, meet up at a place, and whoever won got to capture all the other warriors and just tear out their hearts while they're alive.
Yeah.
It was wild, but
but
I mean, like cultures like
they lived. The reason we remember them is because they lived
were crazy. Yeah.
But they lived long enough for them to be cataloged.
Yeah. Well, something like the Olmec, for example, just died out so long ago. It's like, oh, you didn't write anything down. An L, you lost. I'm sure some descendants of the Olmecs are loving what I just said.
Actually, wait. Technically, no, because we're still talking about them. So
because they made big heads.
See, that's the thing. They still took that. They got one.
They got one
dub.
Yeah,
one dub. Honestly, I feel like you really are. It's kind of one of those questions like, what is the worth of your time here on Earth? Is it like what you leave behind? Is it what you do in the present? What's the question.
It's both, really. I feel like it's partially what you leave behind in your impact, but also the people you impact, you know, because they could do something great too.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know, some guy I could have talked to in high school and I helped him through something, he could go on to become president, you know, I don't know. I'm just one little thing in his life, but it could have been something that steered him in the right direction, who knows, you know? And some people say, like, what your work in life is the thing you leave behind, which is like monuments, children, you know, things like that.
How permanent it lasts.
Yeah, I mean, everything fades with time, though.
Yeah, but I feel like there is like a degree of reverence we have for things that didn't last for a long time.
Like the pyramids.
Yeah,
ancient.
First thing I thought was the pyramids. Is like, at the end of the day, no matter how you feel about current Egyptians or whatever, you're
People
like,
know the name of Khufu.
Yeah, it's like, dang, this man really walked.
One human life, and he's still remembered to this day. It's crazy.
So it's kind of like, is that worth? Do you think a life like that's worth living?
Yeah, but also I think people who start ideas, like someone like Aristotle, you know, someone who starts ideas, who thinks things that people still talk about to this day. You know, someone like Confucius or Jesus Christ. I think those were lives worth living because they still impact us to this day.
Yeah, I'm sure like Adam Smith, and Marx, and
those are definitely lives worth living.
Yeah,
no matter how different they were, you know.
They both hated landlords, though.
True, that's a good thing.
Which is the one thing I'm like, wow.
Hope my landlord doesn't see this.
That's what's good, like, wow.
My landlord's an okay guy.
Yeah.
It's rare.
My boss is an okay guy.
Is he a landlord?
No.
Oh.
My boss.
Yeah, you said your boss.
Yeah, he isn't. He's just...
My boss is like a GTA 5 NPC. Like, he looks like one.
What?
like, you know,
That's mean.
You ever played GTA 5?
I have.
Okay, you know in Michael's story, the like CIA guy who's like angry?
Yeah.
He's like him, but make him look kind of a bit more like Ben Shapiro.
Oh god.
But he wears like the blue polo shirt, the khakis.
Yeah.
He stood like this before. He is a GTA 5 NPC. Okay, he is wild. And then another one of my coworkers is a Jewish guy, but he's like a crypto bro libertarian who also like believes all the Jewish memes and stereotypes.
Oh wow.
He's a weirdo.
Yeah.
And he's got the weirdest laugh. He goes, ha!
It's like a mad scientist laugh.
Like he'll say something funny and go, ha! So I can't even mimic him. He does it in such a weird way.
That's a character right there.
He is. All my coworkers are characters.
All my people I have are chill. They're like me, just like, we're gonna do our job and do a good job.
The most normal one is CJ. He has 2 kids. That's the most thing about him, you know. So he didn't have a good week though. His mom died this week. So
oh no.
Yeah. Although he's like 32 and his mom's like 50. It's so young. Heart attack. So
shoot, you know. I'm just thinking about like my coworkers now. All of them have not all of them. A lot of them have dogs or pets, and also a lot of them have beards.
Beards are kind of in style right now.
It seems to be, but it's been like that for a while, haven't it?
Well, yeah, I just grow a beard because I want to. You know, not because it's in style. Just because, also because I'm kind of lazy. Like, I don't want to deal with this every day. I'll just trim it every once in a while, you know, to make it look okay.
Yeah, I only touch this thing like maybe once a month.
Really?
Yeah, I'm not kidding.
I touch mine every, like once a week because it grows in too fast. Like, look at all. I shaved a few days ago. It's already doing that down there. It's a lot.
I know this hairline right here, this right here,
yeah,
same. Nothing has changed.
Really?
No.
Your hair must. Well, you can probably tell my hair grows fast by all this. So
yeah, it just bunches up into little circles.
A little squirrel, yeah.
And I like that because like my hair keeps itself out of my way, and so I can't ignore it anymore.
It's not like it's gonna grow to a super long like mine does that too, but I trim it so it doesn't because I want it to be long. I want a wizard beard. It's so bad.
You see, I kind of want like a little bit, just like right to here.
like it goes up a little bit, like a trickster wizard. Yeah.
It's like I have the long pharaoh beard. And
it's like you just can stroke it. You're like, yes.
But it's sad to do this.
Yeah, you have to get your whole face, you know.
At that point, it's like, okay, I get it.
It's like, okay, you're trying so hard, but with that long beard, it's like, yeah, that's pretty normal.
Yeah,
like that's normal. Like, yeah, you got it, use it. Yeah. Man,
Measure a man not by their character, but by the length of their beard.
True! The longer their beard is, the more I trust them.
Yeah.
Yeah. The only coworker of mine with a beard is Ben, but he has like a really short beard. And then CJ, who can't grow a mustache. So he just has like an Abe Lincoln. So, but he makes it look good though. Because he's like a black guy who goes to this black barber who knows exactly how to cut it. It takes him like an hour. But, I mean, he makes it look good. So.
Probably better than me. I just cut my own hair and then...
Same.
But honestly...
One time I like messed up. I cut a little too much in his cheek over here. I'm like, I put my hair over it.
That's actually the reason I'm wearing a hat, because I messed up actually my first try, and then my mom came around. She was like, "Oh my goodness, you tried, you got something." And then she taught me like some other things, like cut in this direction with my hair. And eventually, it's like, okay, I see what I need to do. But I want to cut my own hair because the thing is, the more I started actually paying for my own haircuts recently, it's expensive. And I just realized like
cut your hair.
The thing is like, well, I have to eventually.
Why?
Because I like wearing hats, and also I don't like my hair getting too big.
Why?
Because it just goes into a giant hedge, man. It just becomes like one.
It doesn't spill out?
No, it just becomes one big bush that gets tighter and tighter.
Oh, I knew a guy like that in high school. He was a black guy, and he just let it go. Eventually, it became like a little afro.
Yeah, like it's just gonna become like a very.
It's not like mine where it just spills out, you know. And I just like, oh yeah, I can just do this.
You see, if I could do that, that would be something. I could make it like a little ponytail or something.
Yeah, or you can put like a Geralt of Rivia and just like tie it back like this, you know,
exactly.
Make it look good.
But no, it's just like curls up into its little, becomes a bigger head and just becomes big, and like, okay, I get
head mode.
I just become like, I need a hat. I like wearing hats.
I can't be wearing. Can I see your hat?
Yeah, sure.
It doesn't even. Like my head's so big, my hats don't even fit. Like I have to force this on, and it still looks like.
See the problem? You see the problem, user?
Big head mode. That's my family genetics. Everyone in my family has big head mode on at all times.
Yeah. Plus, I get to wear like this. Look at this. It has like a little thing that says like no rules. I like it. It's a fun.
It adds to your look. Yeah. Part of my look is this wild, unkempt mess. Yeah. It's just, and I get so many compliments on it. It's nice. So many women are like, "Oh, I love your hair. I wish I had hair like yours." I'm like, yeah, thanks.
No question. Would you sell your hair as a wig?
For how much? And how much of my hair am I losing? All of it?
We're going bald.
Never. Never. I would cut to like here, and I'd sell below. Oh, wow. I cannot lose all of it.
You are you sure? Like, how much?
You saw me freshman year.
I did.
Short does not look good on me.
I did.
I'm too pudgy.
Well, what kind of money would you think would be worth it? And if you were thinner, what money do you think would be?
Right now, I need like to go bald, like 100K. I'm not kidding. It's such a defining part of my character because I need money to like quit my job for 2 weeks. If I was thinner, like 80K. Because it's still such a defining part of my look. I'm not going back.
You know, I agree with you. Like,
it's like, how much money do I have to pay you to cut your beard off and go back?
Honestly, I'm cheap. I'm not gonna lie. So I probably do it for like $5,000.
Cheap. But it's just like such a part of your look now. You
yeah,
know?
No, it is.
It's like going back to baby mode if you cut it off.
Yeah, and I feel like if I was thinner, I could maybe do it for like maybe 3.
Yeah.
But like the thing is, I understand what you feel.
Yeah.
Though 100K just seems like
no, it's such it defines who I am.
Look, man, that's like 2 years to some people 1 year salary.
This is 6 years of hair. Okay.
Okay.
I've been having it for so long. So, and it's really long too. Let me get the longest strand.
I feel like 4 years ago.
Yeah, the longest strands go past the middle of my back.
Wow.
Oh shit.
You pull it? Please
don't. And if I did, it'd regrow. Okay. Come on. What the hell am I doing?
Wow.
Longest strands.
This is 6 years worth of work.
Yep.
Dang. Honestly, it's really nice.
And it's so thick too.
Yeah.
Like it's more hair than you think it is, just because it's so curled in there.
I have a question. Are you sure you wouldn't do it if you couldn't have like? Do you think your hair could be enough for that mass over there?
Let me
for the viewer, we gotta bring it over so that way they can see.
I feel. Oh yeah, I have more hair than him.
Okay,
For sure.
viewer, he has more hair than this wig of. I don't even know what kind of Joker this is. But
No, it's just like a scary clown.
Oh.
Like scary clown Joker knockoff. His name is Frankie.
Freaky Streaky.
Frankie the freaky clown.
Yeah. I'm not afraid of clowns. I just don't like creepy things in general. This guy, when I see him, I'm just like. He also looks like a YouTuber, like face whenever they're like playing a Let's Play. Like,
Hey
I
guys,
just wanna
welcome
talk
back to
you.
my Let's Play of
I'm not gonna lie.
Phasmophobia.
All you people who are like doing Let's Plays and stuff, you guys look either like this, you look like this, or you look like this, or some kind of like weird face. And I gotta say, I know you guys do it for views, but like, there's so many times.
There's only 3 kinds of Let's Players, though.
There's so many times until
No.
I can like see the
And
screen.
the freaky clown.
Yeah, but that's like Germa, but as a clown.
This is Germa. This is how he'd be looking.
I feel like the Scream, everyone just copies that. They just saw that one painting in high school and like, wow, that looks pretty. I'm gonna do that for all my Let's Plays.
I'm doing it every single day of my life. Yeah. Oh,
When you see the birth of your kid, oh,
not clickbait. Gone to the hospital.
uh,
Oh, man, what time is it even?
it's almost,
Oh my goodness, almost
4.
4. How?
You know, I have the ability to control time.
Whenever me and you talk, time flies, especially more face to face.
Yeah,
Because like over Tangent Podcast, I can look at the time and be like, oh, it's like 30 minutes.
yeah.
But when we're face to face, I just get lost in the fucking convo sauce. You know, I'm just gone. I mean, that's what happened in high school. Like we'd get out of club at like 3, 4. You
then
know,
it's 5 o'clock.
And it's 5 o'clock. And we're like, how? See you next week. Do it again. remember how sometimes people come up like, what are you guys doing? It's like, we're just talking. So then we're like, okay. And they just walk off.
They live their life. Probably,
Yeah.
Probably eating cereal or having a dinner. Just,
Yeah, they're like getting girlfriends, so like that. So
Yeah.
it's just like,
Well, what do you think about this idea? Yes.
I'm going to talk about one last thing, or my things I'm doing. I'm trying to build like a cloud, like a virtual like private network.
I knew what you meant, but I also like to imagine you just trying to jump up and grab clouds.
Trying to pick my own cloud.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I want to do it because I thought about like, hey, what if I can like get all my family and have like their own little network where they can upload their stuff to, but also I can connect other stuff to
I
them.
think I know. I was looking into that. It was like the Pixiv or something. It was Plex servers,
Plex
right?
server, yeah.
Yeah, I heard about those. Yeah.
Because the thing is, I have like this old PC that has like 2 terabytes of hard drive space,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm thinking like, why can't I just use that to like be in a Ubuntu server, connect to like something in the cloud, and then
Mhm.
everyone can just upload their files over here, and I just have it like all the.
It's
music
like,
I want.
oh, your like mom was like, here's the entire Lord of the Rings trilogy. It's like, oh, cool, I can watch that.
Here's all our family photos. Boom.
Yeah,
there you
yeah.
go. So I'm trying to figure that out. I'm looking forward to it because if I can also set this network up, I can maybe remote into my aunt's computer and my mom's computer and everyone's computer, and just like, hey, you said you had computer problems. I don't want to drive all the way up.
Assuming control of your PC.
Just press OK, please. Okay, I have that free.
Yeah. Don't do this for anyone else. They'll destroy your computer.
Yeah, no,
Only for me.
Just do it whenever. The thing is, they would just connect to the VPN, and then after that, it's like we're all figuratively in the same virtual space. So, because I tried doing it over the internet and it didn't make any sense. Because I thought then I could just break it to anyone. This is so insecure.
Yeah. Okay, one final question.
Yeah.
What do you think your job would have been 2,000 years ago?
2,000 years ago,
Like 180. What would your job have been?
it's a tough one. I'm thinking either scribe or maybe artisan like polyman. Someone who does like a lot of. I appreciate manual labor, but I would like to do in construction.
I think I would have been a farmer, but one who participates in like the village council. You know, like somebody who like represents the town, like the village for like a larger town meeting. Like say there's the like using American cities. Like say Pittsburgh. I'd live in a village outside of Pittsburgh, and I go into town to be like, the people of Schmelville believe in this. Like, you know, but I'd just be some like farmer.
Who are you? I am the messenger. I'm also a farmer.
I am the Kruger. I speak for Smellville.
Honestly, like, if you're gonna go by that, then I'd probably be like either a historian or philosopher if I could. Like, as my like, side gig.
Or as most of either back in the day, dual, both.
Yeah.
Philosophers were historians, historians were philosophers. They just did both.
Yeah, I'll do that as my scribe work, and then I'll go back to like manual labor on the side.
Yeah.
So
Go back and work at Schmelville.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, I can sit down all I want, but then like,
It's like, damn, I gotta pay the bills.
yeah,
I gotta eat. Yeah.
I can't just think for like 5
Can't just
hours.
be like Diogenes living in the barrel in the streets eating scraps.
I mean, he's brave and all, but I don't
He's
like
brave, but yeah, he lives a wild man life.
that. Didn't like King Alexander just come up to him and was like, "Yo, what's up, man?" It's like, "Get away from me! Get away from my view."
He like spit on his feet. He's like, "Oh fuck you!" Yeah.
It was
And
like-
Alexander was like, "I've never seen such disrespect in my life."
I gotta write this down so everyone knows.
yeah.
The most disrespectful.
I don't even think they killed him. He was just so shook by it, he just left.
That's the thing. Imagine being so disrespectful that even the ruler of the land,
Like the world.
the whole world, not only just ignores you and just like, wow, I don't even want to touch this guy. He writes about you, so that way you'll be remembered for
Yeah.
the most disrespectful person in all
The
time.
sickest diss in ancient history. Diogenes came out with the first diss track.
That's bad.
Oh man.
That's so sad. That's cool, honestly.
It is cool.
And that's
yeah.
cool. It's like, what will you be remembered for? I don't care.
That man lived a good life.
Well,
That's one worth remembering.
that is. I imagine like if there's gods looking over him, it's like, this guy's funny.
Yeah, I don't care what he did. Get him up here. I want him to come up here and diss other people. Hey, Michael, you're next.
Or no, he'd probably go to hell, but I guess that'd be like a hell of its own. It's like, all right,
He's
now
just out there rap battling Satan.
so he's like, this is
Hey,
entertaining.
I'm not gonna torture him. This is funny. Yeah. I need something to do.
Yeah, I feel like, man, if you're the ruler of hell or heaven, you probably get bored quick.
We'll get bored so fast.
Yeah, I know.
Especially because you have to be one more like morality forever. You know, it's like you have to be a perma goody two shoes Boy Scout, or you have to be like hedonistic asshole. It's like you get bored eventually.
Yeah, and at a certain point, it's like, when you do something accidentally good, everyone's like, what's going on? This is supposed to be even worse. It's like, no, this is some kind of trick, right? You're just trying to make, you know, I guess I now need
It was a lapse in judgment. I shouldn't have helped the child cross the street. Shoots a laser at them and kills them.
Oh my goodness, it was just a ploy all along, trying to raise your hopes so they can tarnish it even further.
The jupes, the trickery with the trickery. He really is the master of darkness, and he's like, oh, I got away with that one.
And if your God is like, you can't do anything.
And
about
God's like, oh,
No.
you jaywalked, and he's like, no, I didn't. Changes reality, so he's right.
it. But the thing is, like, you wouldn't even know.
Yeah, you wouldn't
It's
even
like,
know.
God never jaywalks, God never poops. He just
Just like women.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Never heard of it. Never seen it.
Never seen it. So here.
I like the jazz music.
Jazz music in the background. Oh man. I wish we could do a space race more often. It's so much better.
Mm-hmm.
So.
How you want to end this one?
Maybe we should both like walk at the camera and be like, "See you next time. See you next time. See you next time. See you next." That'd be kind of funny. You think or no?
You think we can do that, or you want to like harmonize?
What if we do like a I don't know. What do you want to do? Because it's gotta be cool.
Rock paper scissors battle.
I always lose, but sure.
All right. No, we gotta do it in front of the camera so that they know. Are we gonna do this 2 out of 3 or?
No, 1 out of 1. Ride or die. Wait. We gotta get done. Oh, we're too big.
Rock paper scissors.
No! I win for once in my life!
Everybody, see you next time with Tangent Podcast.